The strength is at the county
then people
level.
that want to attend the state assembly. And the state's job is to work with the other states. That's called international because we're all nation states. But then we all are connected to something called the Federation. Not the federal government, but the Federation. And they work globally.
Can I ask you something? Can you outline this diagram, or do you have that I can then refer back to and start getting the...
Well, this
gist
is
of it.
what this comes from. This is exactly the way our government was formed. It's precisely in all the documents and everything when you go back historically.
What we're doing now?
Yeah. So the big strength is at the grassroots, okay? But we have people helping us on the bigger levels. So at the Federation level, Anna von Reitz has some people helping her. She's very overwhelmed. She doesn't have staff or a lot of money to hire staff very much. She has volunteers. And what they've done is they've created a global bank for us. And there are 4 branches open. And it's not funded yet because we're still trying to get the funds from these foreign governments that have promised us our trust accounts. And it'll be a little while till those fundings come in because this has to do with Anna working with these gnarly, monstrous foreign governments that have broken all their promises to us and forcing them to do what they've said. And they finally admitted, okay, it is your money, we owe it to you.
And they don't want to do it.
Then the idea is that all of us that are standing on the land will be given a pre-filled out credit card. So you take your credit card out in the world, and as you spend money, you can't spend more than $100,000 a day. It's drawn from your trust account. The account is so huge that it won't even drop down.
Yeah.
It'll still keep growing. And so we're probably the very last generation that ever had to work for money. But people that
Lucky
are
us.
government employees, they can't really do this except when they're off work. So they're still kind of working in sort of like slave labor. But we need to be nicer to our slaves. We need to give them better wages. We need to be kinder to them. We shouldn't have policemen that can barely feed their families and therefore can become easily corrupted because they're desperate for money. You know, we need to be a lot kinder to our employees and not treat them like slaves.
I could just use an extra $100 a day.
$100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like those extra zeros, yeah.
Well, my husband has
One thing
access
big.
to his $100 trillion account. But it's very difficult. You have to gather all your bills from corporations and turn them in with a long number and wait months to be paid. It's hard. But when we get these cards, it'll be operated by our thumbprint, which is considered to be our seal. That's why I needed your thumbprint. And then we'll be able to go out and use the card to pay for things just like you use a credit card.
Okay.
So
Only it's drawing off from our trust.
So then we can focus on creating solutions and healing the planet, the
Right.
people,
Right.
and the
Okay.
animals.
Where does... Now I'm going into the Bible spiritually.
Good.
This question.
Yes.
Where does the mark of the beast fall into this? Because if there's a card and they've got your thumbprint and we're activating it that way, that's a cashless transaction.
Well,
And
your
that's
thumb
where-
is naturally attached to you. How is that a mark of a beast?
Well, yeah, it is naturally attached.
It's a question.
But some people, I'm trying to think outside the box.
Yeah, I think the mark of the beast is what's happening right now with the jab.
Well, then I'm out of luck.
She got jabbed twice. What do you
Oh, you did?
suggest?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know if there's any help.
Well, there
I
is.
don't know what help there is. I just don't know.
I think that eye Hercules will help. Pine needle tea, of course, zeolite, just to get in front of it
Right.
will be the best you can do it, and do it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And zeolite is a small powder that you put into your little drink and chug it back. Also, Corella, cilantro,
So
all that
see,
stuff
all
that goes.
kinds of people have been trying to work on solutions
Yeah.
because
There's always the antidote, though.
we think that, yeah, we're hoping there's an antidote. We think that that people that have received that are going to be in serious health trouble down the road. But we'll see. You know, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get in front of it as best as we can.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let's get
Well,
involved.
So all those
That's
things that I
reason-
just listed off.
The reason that it comes to mind, because I'm a very strong believer, and the reason that comes to mind is because of the talk now, even today in the news, from the government, saying that there will be maybe no availability for people unless they get the jab, to buy or sell or transfer of anything, you know,
We
or
had-
go and to,
Right.
and so that's what triggered. And I was like, man,
We
what if
have
this is the
really
mark of
good
the
news
beast?
Yes.
that came in today that I want to share. There was a man in Alberta, Canada, and I don't know if you know this, but Canada's had a lot worse than we have regarding COVID. And he got a